Hello, Troy. This is Dimitris calling from Metalkaoz in Chicago. How are you?
I'm okay, Dimitri. Thanks for having me.
We are getting close to Halloween, so I guess it's extremely appropriate to discuss the new Them album, right?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So, this album is the fifth chapter in the story that started with Sweet Hollow. So, did you guys know back then that this will expand in a five-album story?
No, when we did the first album, we just thought it would be a one-off album. We never anticipated it going to five or two or three or four or five. We didn't anticipate that at all.
So, how did you start building the story?
Well, it's really interesting. So the first album was a fully self-contained story. And when we released the album off of a small indie label called Empire Records,
Mhm.
it turns out that Steamhammer became interested, and we had signed a two-record deal with Steamhammer. And so now they wanted us to do, the same thing. That's what they wanted, the same concept and same character and same band. The way everything we did, they wanted to do the same. So I started to think about how we could do this, and I could continue the story. So it was at that point in time that I said, well, look, if we're writing another album, there's going to be another album after that. So I already planned out, two other albums, and I wrote the story for both while I was writing the second album. But then as time went on, the way I did it, just in case if there was a calling or a reason for us to write another album, I would make the way I did it thematically. I would make a self-contained part of the story that would end, and if it was over, that's it. That's the end right there.
Oh,
However, the next album always would start off from a different perspective of the ending of the last album up until this last album. This last album, or I should say, this current album, the current album, Psychedelic Enigma, really is it's like a flat. It's really two dimensions that's actually part of the story, and I'm not going to really go into too much detail because it would ruin it for the person who would want to
of
buy a
course.
record
Yeah.
and listen to it and read the lyrics and understand. But let's just say there are two dimensions and there's a twist at the end. And one of the dimensions I can mention that is everything that has happened so far in the story. It is a continuation of the story, but it has a pretty awesome twist at the very end.
Yeah. So, of course, we shouldn't go and spoil the end. However, there is a mention in the press release about two movies, The Others and The Sixth Sense, right? So both of them have the story lined up in a way that the viewer thinks that they know the truth, but they don't know. And then there is a twist that, oh my goodness, how can I do that without spoiling it? so, so how much were you inspired from these two movies? Let's say.
Um, me personally, I really wasn't inspired by the movies directly. I know that was mentioned, but that wasn't directly my, my vision, within writing the
Right.
story. I'll tell you, I really haven't said this before in any interview, but let me go back to the last album, Fear City.
Okay.
Um, and this actually pertains. It makes more sense when you listen to this album and you understand what happens at the very end of the album. What I'm about to say would actually make sense. So I couldn't understand. I mean, I love horror. I love, thrillers, horror. sci-fi, like love all that stuff, and I'm really big into the 80s, right? So
Mhm.
uh as I was writing, oh, sorry, as I was recording the last album, I said we were writing, sorry, we were recording the last two songs, which ultimately became what the Goblin Sessions, okay, that was released just digitally, and now on Psychedelic Enigma, the vinyl has on side D of the second album, because it's a two album set, will have the Goblin Sessions. I was recording the song. It's called Night of a Thousand Tears.
Mhm.
And as I'm recording the song, I'll never forget. I was with in the studio with the headset on and recording the song, and I stopped and I said, "Holy shit, this is my life." Like this whole story that I've written, it's like it's following like a parallel to my life.
Hmm.
And because I've been through a lot of different things, which I don't need to go into detail, but it was like a fictitious storyline of what I was experiencing, and it made sense. And it was like this epiphany that happened as I was recording this particular song. And when the label asked us to do this next album, I said, you know what? I'm gonna play on that, and that's all I'm gonna say. But this particular album coming out, we're very proud of. We put a lot, we put our blood, sweat, tears in it, and we're just very excited, for people to appreciate it or not. Like some people might not like it. You can't please everyone all the time, but we love carrying the heavy metal and horror torch, right? Because a
Mhm.
lot of people call us like a horror metal band. But there's a lot of different, like there's not one particular song on this new album that you can say, oh wow, is that does that song like clearly represents it as a whole, the album as a whole? And no, like some songs are straightforward. We have a few longer titles on the album. Both of our guitar players, they refer to them as the three epic tunes on the album. And it's, this whole process. We love this process. We love the recording of our material, and seeing how it comes out on the end is pretty amazing feeling.
Yeah, I think it's also diverse because one song made me think of Coroner, another song made me think of Crimson Glory, and as you said, there are some twists, some through the keyboard, some psychedelic twists, but these were meant to be close to the concept, right? And represent the craziness of the album. I will say. I will not say anything about the lyrics. So before saying this, I want to ask: when you have the story planned out,
Hmm.
how do you write the music for that? How
So the story is never first. It's always the music, right?
correct?
So the guitar players will write freely, right? Both of them. Um, and what they do is they'll give me the material, and they're complete songs. Okay, they have a basic, like when they first hand them over, they have like a basic program drumming, but all of the drums are real on all of our albums. They're never programmed. Then the drummer would get it and embellish upon what they're going to do, right? So when they hand me the songs, I have to now say, where how I order them. I come up with titles. I come up with the album title, the names of the songs. Then I figure out, and believe it or not, that's what I do. Like I'll come up with the album title, the titles of the songs. I'm being
Okay.
serious, and then I'll say, okay, let me just listen to the songs. I don't even think about the titles, but I have them set aside. I'll take the songs and I'll listen to each one and think about what I'm going to sing, where I'm going to sing. You know, is it singing, screaming, high pitch, low, what type of vocal delivery? and I'll record that using any words.
Right, right.
Some people call it scat singing, right? So now I have like a template, okay? Then I take a whiteboard and a big, huge whiteboard, and I'll write on the whiteboard the title, the songs, the title of the album, song titles, and then I'll summarize like in the story. So I'll know what order that each one is in before I even put any lyrics to any music. And then I actually I'll take the song and I listen to the music a lot, and then I'll decide, oh, you know what, this song is belongs here. This song belongs here, and I match them. And I've done this for all the albums. Um, and then when it's done, then now I know that this song is going to be titled this. And now I'll write the story. I have it already summarized on the whiteboard with the name of the title and what happens in that chapter of that segment of the story. And mind you, again, always keeping in mind that this is a continuation. This is one story, one concept
Right.
across all the albums, right? So I think about what has happened. I think about what could happen. So it's a very involved process. But some people don't understand. Oh wow, some songwriters will write the lyrics and then music around it. But songwriters they do different things than other people. That not everybody does it the same way. This is the
Oh,
way
yeah, of
I've
course.
always done it, and we have done it. So and it works. It works for us.
Do you imagine them writing music without a concept?
Sure, we could do that.
I mean,
Yeah,
it will
we could do that.
remove some of this rather complicated way. I know that it's clear in your mind, but it's complicated, right? Although it's part of the overall experience and the atmosphere that you guys bring in its album. So I'm not saying you should stop doing that. Let me correct myself. So the story is ending or not? Or
The story, there's a twist at the end of the story,
sure, but
and it could be over.
okay, okay,
But if there was a reason to continue, I already know how to continue it, and it would be even more twisted than it has been previously.
okay.
So it could be very positive. So listen, any particular point in time, uh, let's say something happens, and we have three key guys in the band that write the music.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys contribute their parts always, but the two guitarists and myself will write the structuring of the songs, right? If we don't want to continue, I wouldn't want to leave a concept hanging. I would want a definite ending. And that's how I've always done it with all the albums. They all have a definite ending, but it could continue. Will there be an end one day? Yes. Is it now? It could be. I don't know. Meaning, I could continue it. I already know I could write you another three albums right now. Like I know, like conceptually, I know where it could go, where I would like it to go, but it wouldn't be anticipated. It wouldn't be, meaning it wouldn't you wouldn't guess where it would go. So, and I think that would keep the interest from a concept point of view. Musically, we do different things on different albums.
Right.
Sometimes we have some songs that have more keyboards in them. Sometimes there have been songs where I'll sing more like King Diamond with more falsetto. Um, so, we do different things in different albums, and it doesn't mean that we wouldn't repeat what we've done. It's just we don't want to do a cookie cutter album after album playing the same style and with very little change. We want to be diverse.
But how do you achieve that? Because you start writing music, it's you that writes music. So do you think like I want to write something differently, or you start writing on whatever comes?
It's whatever the music like the music is I just it's a feeling. Like I write off of how I feel, how I
Okay.
feel when I listen to a particular song. And that's how it's been. I mean, I've done one-offs with other bands too, and it's the same way. It's what comes in my mind that I'm going to sing it this way. This is the execution, and I do it that way. And then
Okay.
the lyrics fall into place, right? Really, the lyrics are, it's the end. The last part of the songwriting process is the lyrics, putting the actual lyrics. I'll know how I'm going to execute it. I'll know where that execution is taking place within the song, and then I write the lyrics for the story. If it is it a single story self-contained in a song, yes. Most of the time, I mean, I've probably written like another 70 or 80 songs before even doing anything with them. And each song that I've written previously with previous bands were just, individual stories. Each song is its own story, like any other band would do. But this with them, this was the first time that, from a lyrical standpoint, that I ever tried to write a concept. And it was just, it's been a great ride so far.
How long did you guys spend on creating the new album?
Well, usually the music would be created, probably I would say in the course of maybe a month or two, maybe
Mhm.
3 months tops. My parts for this album, I started writing, let's see, January-ish, like 2, 3 months. So it's like 2, 3 months for music, 2, 3 months for like the vocals and lyrics, and then we record, and the recording process will probably take like, I don't know, 2 months, three
Mhm.
months, and then mixing and mastering. So, we spend, I don't know, 6 to 8 months on an album,
Okay.
all together from start to finish.
And for mixing and mastering, you work with Raddy Burns, correct?
Yes,
And this
yes.
was the first time you worked with him. So, was there a specific reason why you chose to work with him?
Well, specific reason. We did for the first four albums. We used the same engineer, who was Dave. His name is Dave Botero. He's done a lot of work. One of his favorite bands to do is Cattle Decapitation. He did that. He's done all their work. Great guy, great engineer, great mind. We just wanted to do something different. So, once we said, okay, we're going to do something different. We're going to use a different artist. We're going to use a different, producer, mix and master. And our guitar player, Marcus Johansson, he said, how about something different where we'll take a guy, like an old school guy, and see what he could do.
Mhm.
So we actually spoke to a few different producers, and then we started talking to Randy. And I'm a big, well, sorry, all three of us are big thrash heads. We grew up with thrash metal, and Randy has produced some pretty outrageous albums
Oh yeah.
of the '80s, right? So I did. We all did our due diligence with Randy. We researched, where did he go? What did he do? And he basically he reinvented himself. He was an, analog engineer, and he bowed out for a while, and he reinvented himself, and to bring himself into the digital age, and he did. And he did a great job with this record. We're very pleased with the quality and what he's done, and we enjoyed working with him.
Yeah, I think the sound captures the this album is more aggressive if we compare that with Fear City, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So bringing an engineer like that helped, enhance or even highlight this, the drums and the riffs and all that stuff. So yeah, I can clearly see why you chose to work with him. That each album has is part of the story, and it talks about a different era, right? This one is early 80s, or am I wrong?
This one?
Yeah, the
No,
new one.
no, this one is present day.
Oh, present.
Yeah,
Okay.
the last album was 81.
Okay.
Fear
Oh,
City, our last album, that took place in the early 80s.
I had in my notes 1979, so I was close.
You were close.
So that means the next one will have to go into the future, right?
I don't know.
Maybe.
We may be unpredictable. You don't know.
Well, you have to follow maybe some horror movies that do prequels. You have to do a prequel.
Maybe,
Why not?
maybe.
Um, I love how brutal is Remember to Die. So I wanted to ask whether Remember to Die, the title, is a twisted version of Memento Mori.
It is.
It is?
So, if you look at our discography, we have a song titled Memento Mori.
Right.
Um, and there's actually a few other titles that I twisted them.
Mm.
Okay. And the reason why is because of the dual dimensions, as I was telling you.
Because of
So
the
what has
twisted
happened?
story.
What was that?
The twisted story.
Correct. So what has happened previously in dimension one, this is what's happening in the second dimension,
Okay.
but but in a much more brutal context.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so that was that was very good, very good. Nobody's picked up on that. Nobody's picked up on that yet.
Okay. Good. Now I feel better. What about the cover artwork? You work with a fellow Greek man, right?
Yes,
So, how much input did you give Yanis Narcos for?
Giannis, originally, he likes to work without anybody telling him anything, really.
Ooh, ooh,
So he likes to just create, right? I get it. I get it. So I gave him some basic ideas, right? Because usually that part comes from me. The artwork also would come from my ideas because it needs to somehow correlate to to the
of
storyline.
course.
So what he did was he originally created when, if you get a hold of the gatefold vinyl, the inside is different, different color scheme
Mm-hmm.
than the outside. The outside is like a purplish color scheme. The inside is similar to the green that we had from the last album, right?
Right.
The inside, the inlay was supposed to be the cover originally,
Okay.
and I, despite the fact that I really liked the artwork, it was great. It didn't truly represent the full scope of what was going on. But then I said, you know what? This is going to be a gatefold. This would be perfect for the inside. And on the inside, there's the them logo. The them logo is slightly different. The inverted cross is now right side up.
No.
And yeah, there's that. And also Psychedelic Enigma is written backwards. And the character positioning is different. So you see KK, he's the prominent character,
Mhm.
and the patient is, which I won't tell you who the patient is, but the patient is little, but on the front cover, it's the
It's the other way around.
reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, there's two dimensions at play there.
Yeah. I'm trying not to say anything.
You know about it, so
Right.
yeah.
Right. So, because Delirium kind of, yeah,
Well, yeah, Delirium. That's you have to listen to the
planes,
end, really.
but again, as you said, leaves the door open. It's so I like how you did that, and I clearly understand why the dominant character changes between the inner and the outside. So, and in fact, there is a play with the inner side of the gatefold and the outside. What is inner? What is outside? it's up to the viewer to decide, right?
Right. Definitely. It's
That's
just, I think it's something that, you know, the combination of the artwork, the lyrics, the music, it really ties everything together. And we want the viewer or the person, the person who's experiencing this to enjoy that moment,
right.
you know? Um, they spend their hard-earned money on something, and we want them to not only enjoy the music, we want them to enjoy everything. But this time, we cut back on the dialogue because we did have a lot of dialogue interlaced between
Mhm.
songs and previous albums. We took a different approach where we wanted to cut back on the dialogue and just have more music. If you don't want to listen to the dialogue, you don't have to. That it will have a little piece at the end to give an idea of where the story was, where it's going, and if you don't want to listen to it, you just exclude it out of your playlist, that sort of thing. So I think people overall will really enjoy the music. The music is really good, in my opinion. But again, they have to feel that.
However, there is another message to what you're saying. Please buy the physical product because it's way different than having a digital file in your phone or streaming service. This is not how to listen and own music anyhow.
Yeah.
That's the old school side of me doing the talking. So have you filmed or will you film any music videos? I know you have done two lyrical videos.
Yeah, we call them well, they're lyric abstract videos or
Okay.
abstract lyric videos. We have one more coming out. We're not filming full-blown videos this time.
Okay.
This is the approach that we all decided to go down. We want people to really more focus on the music and the lyrics. So that's why we did this. And people appreciate that because they don't have to go searching for lyrics. If they like it, they have an idea. It's a taste, right? They see the second song and the third song that is we're releasing is pretty wild, in my opinion. It's just something. When I first heard that song, I said, "What am I going to do with this?" I really did. It was just wild. It's like a roller coaster out of control. It's just, but it's structured still. It's still heavy, and I love the way it came out. So that's coming out next week. That's a song called "Psychedelic State," and yeah, that's actually dropping next week, I think. Yeah, next week.
Yeah, and even the title implies that there is a crazy trip, right?
Oh
In
yeah,
the psyche of
yeah.
the person. Touring plans. What's on the future for you guys?
So we did a lot of touring for the first two records, right?
Mhm.
We did a US run with Halloween. We did a number of festivals over in Europe, um, all the way up until 2019. 2019 comes, we said, okay, we're going to go write the next record. We wrote the next record. COVID hits.
Yeah.
We were recording when COVID started. We were recording. That's
Mhm.
when we started. We released the album. We couldn't play any shows. Then we were we were done, like meaning our contract was fulfilled. The label gave us an extension. They wanted another album. We released Fear City. The problem is Fear City at that time, when we released it, we still weren't out the world wasn't completely out of the whole COVID situation, and
Yeah.
tours were getting canceled left and right. And we just felt we live across two different continents, and we're not together,
Mhm.
so it takes a lot. We have to guarantee that if we're going to get together, we're going to we're going to rehearse and practice and tour. And it was just so difficult that right now we didn't have anything planned, right? We said we're going to release the record, and if there's interest, then probably next year in 2026, maybe we do a small tour, maybe we do some kind of, few festivals, uh, something like that. But we're up to playing. We just, we're not pushing for it right now. We want our music, to get out there more, and eventually we will play. We just haven't crossed that bridge to do that yet. Because I know that's usually typical, and the label would love us to
Right.
play, even if it's a short, even if it's a short tour. But yeah, we want to make sure that we are represented correctly when we do this, just so we're not spinning our wheels, and we have some significant, either significant direct support for a group, or just some significant shows. We don't have to go. We've played a lot. Don't get me wrong, we'd love to play live, but and when we do, we'll definitely bring the energy and the passion along with it. But just not right now, but maybe in the near future, probably sometime 2026.
Yeah, and I think based on how things are here in the States, it will be easier for them to go, the band them, to go in Europe, right? Uh,
Yes.
it will be a
For them to come here right now, it'd be very difficult. I think at the time, I think they said they had to get like working visas
right.
for something like $3,500 each, something like that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
I don't
yeah,
know,
it's
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 crazy.
ridiculous. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we don't have to do that going there.
Hmm.
But if now something happens with, because there's like, the whole digital ID thing, who knows what's going to happen? We might, have to get some kind of additional, I don't know, I don't know, maybe not working visas, but some kind of identification to go over there. It won't be easy, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, it's bizarre that we are talking about music. We are not talking about anything difficult.
I
People
know,
want to have fun. Let
I know.
people have fun. Let bands move over the big pond. Come on, come on. Anyhow, um, last question for you: is Cold still active or no?
Cold Steel's not active.
Oh, okay,
No, Cold
okay.
Steel's not active.
I
Maybe
had to
one
ask.
day, but it hasn't been active. I don't know if you know this, but Cold Steel, well, before them, I had a King Diamond tribute band
Hmm.
for about three or so, yeah, about 3.5 years. And the funny thing is, for the first 2.5 years of that, majority of the members in then the King Diamond tribute were Cold Steel. Were like four of us. Let me see, the three or four of us were from Cold Steel, and that was the thing when we were doing the King Diamond tribute band. I said, you know what? People really enjoyed us performing the King Diamond songs, and we were tight, and but we were a band, for many years before that. I said, why don't we just do something in original light, but make it heavier, And the funny thing is, none of them wound up being in this place. It's all different people. It's just you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what's gonna happen in life. So you make a plan, and you might end up in the same spot where you're trying to get to, but with different people. And that's what happened here. And I don't regret it, but that's how it started, and this is where we are.
Absolutely. And last bonus question: favorite King Diamond album?
What was that?
Favorite King Diamond album?
Well,
One. You have to say one.
well, first of all, to them, obviously. But it's
Okay.
not just them. I love them. I love Abigail. Abigail's a close second. Um, I really enjoy Conspiracy,
Oh yeah.
The Eye. Um, Give Me a Soul, Please was definitely, I enjoyed that. A lot of people, they weren't
Mm.
crazy about that album, but I really enjoyed that. It's such a shame that it's been like, what, 17, 18 years since he released that one. I'm hoping that, as a fan of King, I hope he releases something soon. I mean, he was talking about like a double album set, but
Right. Or two different albums he has been
yeah,
saying
right.
stuff.
He's going back and forth, but I've met King a few times, and I told him, he kind of knows what I've been doing, and I just told him, look, no disrespect, no disrespect whatsoever. I he's he's an awesome artist. I appreciate him and what he does. I have some influence from him, but I also have influences from other styles, that are not him. And I just, I told him, look, I'm not trying to step on your shoes. I just, you do your thing. I'm doing this right now, but it's all with respect. I'm not trying to disrespect you. And he got it, but he might not ever say that, he knows me, but that's okay. I've had a few conversations with him, and that's all that matters, in my opinion. But we're good.
Yeah, I didn't mean to
And I love
go
King,
into that discussion. I was just asking about
the
the
album.
other album,
But
man.
but you know what? But them as a number one King Diamond album for me, I would listen to that over and over. I still have the first pressing, right? I listened to it over and over and over when I was back in what it was 80s, right? Late 80s
88.
ish. 88?
Yeah.
Yeah, 88. I was painting jackets, heavy metal jackets, on
Mhm.
denim. I was painting them, and I would listen to all different albums of what I loved, and I really loved Accept. Accept was one of my favorite bands, and Maiden, and it was just I. But when I listened to them, it just brought me into a different dimension, a different world, where I'm painting and I'm just listening to the album, flipping it, listening to the album, flipping it over and over, more than any other album. And that always stuck with me because, you had all these different bands, American, British metal, you had all these different bands, and his King. It was like he was so unique in what he did and his style. And I loved the progressive nature of the music itself. Very different than Merciful Fate. Love Merciful Fate too. But King's solo albums were just progressive but catchy. I loved the storytelling. I loved everything about it.
Yeah, it was an album that really introduced this horror concept that he
Yeah.
was trying to do. And
That,
and once you got into them, you could go back to Abigail and appreciate that album even better then,
True.
right?
I agree. Now I'm gonna have to listen to those albums. I still have the first pressings on vinyl, so I'm gonna go do
I
that.
do the same, man. I do. I have the first pressings in vinyl. So, yep. Troy, thank you very much. Really please appreciate your time. I enjoyed the album, and I don't know, man. Let's see them in Chicago sometime in 2026.
That would be great, Dimitri. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. You too. Thank you very much for the time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.